Out though, you know, Elise Thresh pick, never underestimate.
No, and like the 2v2 in the top lane, when you have a Hecarim running an offensive summoner spell and Elise, that's a strong 2v2 you can use.
All right, well, guys, you at home, please keep involved with the matches. Vote for who you think's going to win this one. Use hashtag LGD win or hashtag KT win to vote. Let us know how that one's going to go. LGD so far have been the victim of one upset, and based on pick and ban and based on Zyreen's prediction, it might be a second one here. KT Rolster finally the first world championship for the organization. They started out strong with their win over Team Solo Mid. Now looking good heading into their game against LGD, but as number 3 Korean seed could be making a very deep run of this world championship.
So let's take a look here at how LGD can play the early game, because we talk about how there's a timer on this game. They don't want to go full late game against the Juggernaut composition. It's very difficult for Varus and Sivir versus Malphite and Gragas and Braum when it comes to dealing damage in these fights. But we just quickly highlighted Elise and a Hecarim. That's a strong early 2v2. So LGD, to me, would be happy, honestly, taking a standard lane and try and use TPQ and the early game power he has of this Elise pick.
Upset the lanes early, absolutely. Yeah, well, we'll see if that happens. LGD do have more ranged champion in the bot lane. They could maybe get a bit of harass down onto Peekaboo and Arrow.
It's a lane that LGD can push very aggressively in the start and try and deny CS.
Also trying to get a lead on the double AD comp here with the extra poke is exactly what LGD want to do. They want to try and get that lead for Godby, start rotating around because they have so many skill shots to throw out in the siege.
And we can see both teams are still on the bottom side with the dual lane. So LG are looking for those standard lanes. Play around it, start up by getting Akon going. Use his teleport then to take his advantage and move it to the bottom side of the map. You gotta start getting on outer turrets. We're looking like 15 minutes when we have the tier, when we have a brutalizer on the Varus, and of course some levels under his belt for his Q, and then the Sivir with the fast pushing. That's where LGD is really gonna kick in and start creating map pressure. Those 3 outer turrets have to fall in the mid game, otherwise KT can stall it too late.
Yeah, basically what LG do, they have Sivir annihilate the creep wave so that it's very clear by the turret for all these skill shots to come through for the Elise and the Thresh to set up poke damage.
They're going to match the 2v2 top after they saw what happened on the map, but they're coming in very, very late to very late. No, not even. They're not going to miss anything, so never mind that one. I even thought KT were doing a camp at level 1, but obviously they were straight in lane. So we get the 2v2. LGD were looking for it. They found it. Can now send Akon back down to the bottom lane with his own level 2. And of course, Someday will do the same after this double camp.
PYL takes over the ranged minion aggro there first. Then Imp is able to auto-attack there without getting the return damage from the ranged minions. Nice little 2v2 micromanagement there from the LGD bot lane. And they actually took control of the lane. Now they're shoving with Sivir despite getting their second.
Yeah. Even though Sivir doesn't have the greatest matchup here, it changes with your support. Again, it's always 2-man down in this bottom lane, so having the range support on your side allows you to play really aggressive with pushing in the lane. So you have the safety of a Lantern as well from PYL. So good start for LGD and exactly what they want to get this composition going.
Well, certainly an interesting start as they've given away the blue buff to Malphite to start out his laning phase. So Someday they're hoping to get him ahead on Acorn here, and that will be a matchup to watch.
Yeah, it's that race. Anytime you are facing so much physical damage, you want to bundle as much gold as you can into the Malphite so he can start stacking the armor, and he doesn't get behind. TPQ here, though.
We talked about it.
Damage coming in very early. Wants to get Acorn ahead. He's got Ignite.
Knocks Someday into the wall. When is he going to go for the flash? Goes for it there. Last possible second. Gets away, loses health.
Really like the play. Someday saving his flash, waiting for the minion wave to come down and flashing behind them as well. TPQ, of course, was delaying his own snare or stun just to see where is he going. Cannot try and predict it with my own CC, but we mentioned it. The 2v2 of an Elise and a Hecarim is very, very strong, and that's where he went first. Got good early wards, and meanwhile topside is covered from PYL and his own ward, and just constant pushing again and again, pushing into the tower.
Meanwhile, Score's gone back very early. He's got the wards now. He can come down and supplant some extra vision for Someday. While Someday does have the flash disadvantage here, he couldn't get some vision for him. Elise can easily go for lane ganks as well, though, so you still have to be cautious.
And this mid lane matchup with Godby and of course Nagne. So it's looking, Nagne, normally the guy looking to farm, not the big playmaker in the mid lane. Strong team fighter for KT though. Doing okay. For the Varus, it's just about getting some levels under your belt, get the first brutalizer, get your tier in, and then start sieging with this lineup. Lulu typically can't do a whole lot when she's standing so far back and you're just shooting her with arrows.
Keeping my eye on TBQ here. He actually just got the Raptor buff as well. They had a ward in the brush when the ward over the wall from Score was placed. He can go use his Raptor buff to clear it out, but he's just sneaking in for a lane gank. Score, meanwhile, has his eyes set on mid, trying to target this Varus. Can get a summoner spell, at least out of Godby.
Oh, perfect positioning.
Oh!
Wait, flash forward!
Flash by Godby, yeah, flashes the wrong way, it seems, and there's the first blood picked up. 2 summoner spells down for Godby, first kill in for Nagne.
You cannot afford to make these mistakes when you're running the composition that relies so much on your mid game.
Plus, that was both bump summoners spurned. So not only did he flash into the middle of the lane because of the good positioning from Score getting behind him there, but he blew his ghost and he died in the end anyway. There's still a flash here on Nagne. He can go in, turn you into a cupcake, and Score can repeat.
And just a very easy and simple gank for Score here on the Gragas. There was no vision around the mid lane really to spot him. Walks in, even a safe gank had TBQ been nearby, they would still have gotten so much damage on Godby at first, they would have been okay. And great start for him. He was really on fire together with Peekaboo yesterday.
Yep. Good stuff, man. Score doing great things for his team. Peekaboo just keeping the lane afloat as much as this push is happening. Very good mechanics by Arrow and Peekaboo, keeping all the CS in that bot lane. They're basically identical.
Yeah, luckily for Godby, you know, he's got his tier on Varus, so now he basically sits under his turret and can CS still all the way up to the middle of the lane, firing off arrows.
It's such a funny item for Varus, because normally, you know, having tier, when you then fully stack it, you get that big spike in damage, and it's awesome. It never really mattered for him too much because he auto-attacks so little when it comes to these fights. Instead, for him, it's just about getting that mana regen and getting the armor penetration in. It's always been key, so him falling behind is a big deal, obviously, because he also will stack just the tier itself very slow. He has to upgrade it first, so he gets a bit more from the auto-attack when it comes to getting mana back.
Yeah, plus because his poke comes from the Q, the normal ability, he levels it up much quicker than something like an AP Kog'Maw in the mid lane. Again, can max it out by level 9.
Oh, Someday finds TBQ, chumps down a few spiderlings, stun comes back, and he's gonna run. Oh, good flash.
I like this play though. You know he's going to flash it, but it's an ulti traded for a summoner spell. Always worth it here from Sunday, just forcing that, even at backup coming, so New could go completely aggressive.
Yeah, and Someday's the guy who got ganked. He lost his flash 4 minutes ago from a gank by TBQ, who has not come back down there. Someday is doing pretty much just fine minion farm-wise, and looks like he's no worse for the wear at all.
Yeah, plus look at the deep wards that they got during that. Score goes in also. So deep wards here from KT. The early Sightstone picked up, whereas Elise TBQ went for the Amp Tome, trying to get to his jungle item completion first.
Yeah, going for Ruined Glaive really wanted to show it's about early mid-game for him. He needs the extra damage. Can even go for more magic penetration with his boots if you want to. We have seen it a few times. Obviously makes you very squishy in these fights, but LGD knows that if they start getting to these late game fights anyway, TBQ will not be much of a tank. He has to get rolling early game with the team. So far, small C is leading the bottom lane. Same for top. We saw before here, Akon was staying in lane and getting some farm, but Arrow is doing his best to keep up.
Well, Imp had the luxury of recalling when he wanted to, so the BF Sword Saber gonna do fairly well and has some bonus potions as well. We'll see how good the harass ends up being there. Good spell shields.
Yeah, and this is the point you really hate as a Sivir. Once you start hitting level 6, your ulti is not very useful when it comes to trading back and forth, and instead Arrow can just keep firing these long-range ultis in his face, and Sheen as well makes it very good even against a BF Sword target and just comes to the quick trade.
Yeah, the W active auto attack in itself is a very big win there for Kog'Maw, but PYL so threatening right now, not allowing them to move up, and Imp retains control of the minion wave.
The hook on Peekaboo. Problem is, Braum is actually very good in a Sivir. His shield actually stops her W from bouncing, and it kills the back half of the Q. So Peekaboo, even though all these hooks come in from PYL, and he's landed a ton of them, Imp is not a champion that can actually do a lot of damage back to the Braum. He's
playing so aggressively, though. Imp continually shoving this wave in, not giving them any time to try and go for trades in the lane. And LGD, they just continue to push up here to retain control.
And that's what they can do for now. It's so hard to pull off a gank for TBQ because we have the double sight, or we have the Sightstone early from Score to get a lot of vision down. So what LGD can do is to say, you know, we're going to wait instead. We don't have to win the game now before 10 minutes. We know we have a big spike in the mid lane with the Varus. Sivir, once she starts really being able to fast push waves with some attack speed under her belt, that's really what they're going to wait for before we see them go super aggressive. For now, just push the lanes, chip down these towers slowly but surely, because then you get them a nice engage.
Arrow stood still, just tanked a hook, and now Pikabu's gonna come back in, but here's the teleport coming in. A flake as well, and there comes Someday. The two-man knockup, and actually Arrow's still all right on this one. Acorn's TP didn't mean much as ulti burned for nothing. Luluwalt gonna try to make it happen. The knockback.
Score!
Oh, man.
LGD though, making that aggressive teleport with Acorn is so risky. You're against double TP on the side of KT.
Yeah, and I wanted to cut in there too because Score had made his way all the way down the lane. So Arrow was baiting right there by standing still under the turret, and they had the trap set.
And that's the thing for LGD. You do not have to pull the trigger pre-10 minutes. Wait for your composition to kick in, then start taking down towers. By slowly chipping down outer turrets, that rotation you can do where you just get 2 or 3 of them and suddenly a massive chunk of gold is going to be very simple to pull off once they start landing some poke that really hurts.
It's really unfortunate for LGD that that last auto attack did score the killing blow as well. Kog'Maw needs that kill. Now he's going to get off to a good start. They can have an earlier Trinity Force for him and get to grouping.
Oh, that's a good ult for Godby. Nagne forced to take some aggro, and he's going to be fine. Chuck with 300 health, but not in
it's
that
good
much
though.
danger.
It's good from Godby. Again, he slowly gets to hit this mid lane tower. Build it up for this 15-minute, 16-minute mark, and then we start seeing the domino effect where 3 towers just drop, boom, 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 and suddenly LGD gets the goal lead from it. And that's what they need to then get the map control later on. For now, just continue doing what you're doing on the side of LGD. No fights though.
That big hiccup though down bottom lane.
Might be more in the bottom. Like, this matchup is so bad for him.
No! Goes down. Good stun, good everything. Great pickup by KT Rolster. It's getting worse and worse now.
Pays for the constant pushing there. And Peekaboo plus Arrow able to combine and kill him again.
Imp right now with flashbacks to Season 3. Sitting and underperforming with his team, of course.
Yeah.
Dropped out of the group stages. Nobody expected it.
The Lantern used pretty early there as well. Not even picked up, and they couldn't gain the distance.
Yeah, it was dropped for the shield, and then, yeah, Imp grabbed it without even getting any distance. Yeah, just unfortunate there. Acorn in a battle with Someday, but Someday's winning this battle pretty hard. Merc Treads versus a Chain Vest. That's not really close.
No, Acorn is built to join his team, where Someday can just take these trades so effective with all the armor.
Yeah, the slow burn of the Bombing Cinder not to be underestimated. That's what Malphite does. He wears you down.
And it seems like it's a metaphor for the rest of the game. LGD as a team are getting worn down. A death to their mid laner, 2 deaths to their AD carry. Kills spread across to some of the best sources possible. Good Lantern. And of course, interesting for Imp, he wants to spell shield these Kog'Maw ultimates to get some free mana, but that leaves windows where Peekaboo knows there's no way to stop Glacial Fissure or even just a simple Winter's Bite Q.
Once again, though, LGD they're so far up in the lane. They're drawing so much jungle attention. Score comes down yet again through the lane. They might make another play here if Peekaboo is able to land.
They should know better.
LGD has just been too eager, really, to pull the trigger in this one, especially that Acorn teleport down to the bottom lane earlier. Like, those are the kind of plays you can't afford to make when you're waiting for specific timings with your champions, because then you simply give KT the opening to start picking up early kills, and it only gets worse when it comes to the scaling we see. Godby can continue to get some good damage on mid tower. That is the key thing, and now we see TPU come in. So again, it was slowly chipped down, and then you can make the play with sending 2 or 3 guys and take it, and that's what you need to get the goal lead.
Nicely done right there. They timed the roam actually off of the blue buff being taken by Nagne.
But again, because how bad that misstep down bottom was for LGD, even taking down the turret, they don't have the gold lead.
Maybe they can claw their way back in. It's certainly going to be a hard one. No Score says, hello, that's going to be my scuttle. Unless Godby can stop that. Nope, not quite. Stun's coming through. Good damage. Score wants it anyway. They knock in TBQ. In comes Braum, and out goes LGD. That's going to be the kill. Wild Growth to secure it all. Godby's going to run. The knockup's going to hit him, but no one else wanted to chase there. Control for KT Rolls.
The early game skirmishing here from KT, just coming out on top over and over again. Plus, the tower gold still standing here. if they can gain this much control just by continually killing LGD, they'll easily be able to take it back.
Look at a little trap here being set up from Someday, waiting for Godry to return to the lane and push it out, realizing though it's going to take a little bit too long and will just walk back to the top side, but he was looking for the opening and the easy dive on the Varus.
Plus, KT, every time they get a kill, look, they have multiple members going deep into LGD jungle. They have wards deep on both sides of the jungle. Every move from TVQ will be seen. Never mind, the ward around Raptors just times out, so they won't see him on the bottom side of the map. But because
Three
they
of his
saw
4 basic camps still have wards on them.
they know because they just killed him, sent him back to base, and they have wards on the other side. There's one place he could be farming.
What we're going to see now, though, is that Varus can continue to just instant push the wave. The thing about Lulu, yeah, her wave clear is fine, but when she little lands through the wave, she doesn't one-shot it.
Nope.
So she needs a bit of extra time to really clear it. Godby has less cooldown for himself, especially once he gets the cooldown reduction boots, and then he can instant push the wave. That applies pressure on the side lanes because he can roam first. And that means they suddenly can keep pushing on the bottom side and slowly again take down this tower. They need it, and then they have to rotate to the top side and get the last outer turret.
Yeah, LGD gonna prep a play down on the bottom side. There are plenty of wards for Acorn to teleport in. He would really like to get that level 11 first.
And that is a good point. Because because Nagne is sitting with teleport, even if Varus can roam first, Nagne can always join in. So we almost have a situation where LGD needs to find a way to blow one of these teleports before they want to go for any of the aggressive plays. You can see Godry is constantly moving away from his lane. He pushes out and then he leaves because he knows Nagne and Someday can be in the bottom side in no time, and he has to be close by for 5 versus 5.
This is what it looks like when a Malphite wins lane, by the way.
Yeah.
He just slowly
16
wears
minutes.
you down. He takes the turret, first to level 11.
Uh-oh, it might get more dangerous. Imp loses a lot of health here. Be careful. Stun's going to land onto a minion. TVQ cannot hit the right target. PYL going to be the first casualty. And a beautiful explosive cast means Elise will be next on the table.
And that's only one of the teleports. They can get a turret after this. They can even get Dragon after that.
Wow.
KT arrows taking control.
LGG is falling apart completely. Too many mistakes in the early game. Too many poorly picked fights. Easy gank in the middle and Godry coming in.
This is going to be a high armor Malphite. He just now lost the passive shield. 3 turret shots in. Not even difficult. A teleport for Acorn,
Useless
but why?
teleport, even gonna cost him his life.
Useful for KT. They get his ulti. Now he's going to fight Arrow. It's going to be close. Arrow goes down, and finally LGD get a kill, but
another another turret is gonna go down after that. KT, as we said, they're easily gonna be able to take down these outer turrets. Up, too little life.
KT Rolster is manhandling this game.
Now maybe not that easy.
3,500 gold lead, 8 kills to 1. It's worth pointing out the farm is still staying equal to maybe even a slight LGD advantage. Like, all of the gold lead is just these kills. And LGD still trying to push in for this dragon as well.
And it did, yeah, okay.
Again, knowing you have double teleport, KT can go for these plays.
Yeah, I mean, Imp just gets destroyed in the trade down bottom, so even if every member is accounted for, KTC would still come out on top, so big move from them down bottom, as you know. But it's not even just the gold. Again, as we went over in Champ Select, KT looking really, really good just from the beginning stages. And now they're going to make another play on Imp. There's no turret this time.
I guess
Some backup though.
Yeah.
TBQ's on the bottom side as well. He got his Elise first pick. That was the entire bait from KT, saying, we know you want that for your jungler. Ends up giving that Juggernaut composition, which would do well against the Mordekaiser. So just overall, a super smart pick and ban phase.
TBQ has so far collectively 0-9-1 in the World Championship so far. Wondered what it would be like for him, and so far it's been really pretty miserable for the man.
Honestly, I thought people were being a little too harsh on him at first, but
goodbye.
Yeah.
Suddenly everyone's in the mid lane. Even some days roaming around. Top lane is alone right now. It's going to be pushed in by Acorns, Hecarim, but KT are just taking everything down now. All 3 outer turrets are gone. Now Imp gets found as well. Can't dodge much of this one. Does do a nice flash over the wall. That's about as long as he could have gotten it.
And right now, we're 19 minutes in. Someday has 256 armor. against a physical mid laner. Physical, of course, AD carry. I say, of course, now Mordekaiser could have been the AP1, but... And also a physical top laner. This guy is unkillable.
Yeah. Even, like, the only magic damage they have is TBQ, and someday we'll crush him like the spider that he is.
Just pull the legs off one at a time. TBQ did at least go Rune Glaive, so, you know, he's got some extra ability power.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find
one-shot that
good
Malphite.
I mean, glaring, yeah, definitely the glaring weakness for LGD here is TBQ, whether it's from the in-game play or trying to compensate for him in Champions.
Sure, that's a big deal here. Maybe them feeling forced to first pick that and not go for the Lulu if they wanted it. But we saw Lulu from them yesterday not doing a whole lot either for LGD as a team. So, like this game, I agree TBQ is a weakness, but to me, I'm looking at the entire team here.
Yeah.
Because the bottom lane fight and so on was not really anything TBQ could change. Like, that was the team taking a bait, basically, TPing in super aggressive, and then realizing, oh, we can double teleport and just get him punished for it. Give up more early kills.
Yeah, very true.
We just have to look at the entire lineup, and so far, they're not showing up.
Now, LGD right now are the biggest disappointment of the tournament. They have
the inverse stake.
Yeah. LGD is vegetarian. Team herbivores, and not all as well here for this team.
Well, KT, they've got a very clear path here to close this out. Watch as their ward line continues to encroach on LGD territory here. They're working it in. LGD are doing their best to try and defend it, but it's just so difficult.
Yeah.
Someday, he just won't stop.
No.
Continuing to wear Acorn down. There's not much Acorn can do except focus on the minion wave.
All three lanes just getting pushed in, and it's just a matter of time before KT puts the focus on Baron.
Exactly.
Plays a few pink wards around and says to LGD, either you come face shakers into a fight you're never going to win, or you just let us take the Baron, and then pushing 1-3-1 becomes so much more effective.
Ooh! A couple of flashes traded, but otherwise, all is well. It's just the normal KT style. This looks somewhat similar to how they won up against TSM just a few days ago. It's methodical and smart, and one at a time they knock down objectives. And when KT wins games, there are not many kills. And you can see here, 0.5 kills per minute. Underneath that, actually, definitely low.
I really want to see with LGD the team communication is like, because there's so many small moves in the early game between all the teams, and every single early game we've seen there. Small miscommunication can make or break almost your entire early game. If a member is positioned wrong, if he teleported in on the wrong time, or maybe the team were calling for Akon to not join in and he did anyway. We don't know what's going on with the team. We know, of course, there has been some problems in the past because they have Koreans, they have Chinese players.
Yeah.
And it's something we see more and more from these Chinese teams now, that they have these mixed rosters. It looks like there are some miscommunication happening in the early game.
Yeah. Oh, KT Rolster. Again, I mentioned par for the course. They're throughout the season in wins, KT Rolster, there's 0.59 kills per minute. We're even below that here. And KT playing such a controlled style. Of all the teams we could measure, they were the least bloody of the teams here at Worlds.
I mean,
but this is KT. This is what they do.
Yeah,
they take control of the map.
Someday is like, there's no way you're taking this guy down. Nope. He's got nothing to worry about. There's not a Last Whisper in sight. Well, there is one in sight. I see one right now. Godby's got one, but that's not gonna be enough.
The long-range knockup.
Yeah.
He implodes.
Godby will have his Last Whisper, but again, he's never going to sit and auto-attack the Malphite. He can maybe land a Q2, and that's about it. Someday, just as an update, is currently sitting on 338 armor now. And I don't think he's going to stop here. Well, what about a Thornmail? Why not?
Yeah, you know what? That sounds fun. Got a cloth armor right now. Even go hardcore for like Deadban's play it afterwards. Just keep adding pieces to the puzzle.
Funnily enough, I always debate the last item. Uh-oh, here we go.
Godby knocked against the cliff. He's got nowhere to go. Good damage on a Nagne. I mean, they can get some hits across, but the problem is they die too fast because of the Malphite dives. 5-0-1 Nagne, actually a big kill leader here.
And that's, you know, look at how deep this vision is for KT. you step out of line. Even this LG side of the jungle is not their own. Here comes the answer of a defensive teleport.
Yeah, TPQ lands a flash stun and says, you know what, let's go for this one. In comes Acorn, and they're like, wait, why do we even do this? Has to ulti away. Someday still chilled in the front lines. And wow, everyone's airborne like they love vitamin C. And down goes the turret, down goes the champions. KT going for the win on this one.
And someday you can tell, no fear in his heart. As soon as he gets in there, immediately stop the Hecarim and then move forward. They're not afraid at all. Even before he tries to use a Hecarim ult to escape, Someday's already attacking the back line. This is going to be an inhibitor turret. They're inside the base.
Peekaboo's really low. Godvy's trying to look. Oh no!
Oh, I shot the wrong way!
He tried to run and let go of Q too late. Not like it matters for too much here. Inhibitor's going to be taken out easily. Oh my gosh, has to flash away, still goes down. This is catastrophic now for LGD.
What a route here from KT.
And we keep seeing these compositions with double teleport. Once they get that lead, the map control is just insane. Whenever LGD is trying to make a flashy play just to come back, double TP happens. Yep. Everyone is there suddenly for KT, and it's just so easy for them to turn around.
It's
double frozen hard.
Snowbally.
You have everything you need on the side of KT.
0-5-0 Godby in the mid lane on that last pick, Varus.
We see it here, double TP happens, so like TPQ has to go for something. They need to try and catch out a target if they want to get back in the game.
And look at Someday. Okay, I stopped you. My eyes are for the prize. Yeah. Looking for kills now.
I got 350 armor right now. Imp is basically healing me every time he hits me, and massive knock up. Rest of the team can just follow up, clean up. It's also fantastic being the AD carry, and this team is looking at your front line, doing all the work. You just have to be like last hitting a little bit, right click, and get a few more kills.
And this, by the way, we looked at LGD's Kog'Maw game from earlier. It's okay to play a bunch of offensive champions with a Kog'Maw, because you create so much havoc, you get the freedom to hit whatever you want. You don't have to worry about being peeled for. This is like what LGD wanted in their game yesterday.
Yeah, big difference was that what Origin did against LGD was they stacked a lot of late game damage and mixed damage as well. We had a Kalista, and then we had, of course, a lot of magic damage from both Vladimir and Orianna. So there were so many threats to kill this single target main damage dealer. In this case, it's Arrow on the side of KT. LGD did almost the opposite. They're like, okay, so we know you have now a Juggernaut composition. We're going to try and run some poke and see if we can maybe get some towers early game and get the game rolling. But also the Hecarim pick coming in just meant that it was so easy for KT to stack a bunch of armor against it and say there's no threat now against our front line or our back line.
You can see the value of counter picking at the very end here for Someday. The Malphite, no threat of a Vladimir coming through after
look at that
pick of the game.
Get the passive down, that's it.
Even with the static shift hitting, he did 10% max health. PYL now down to 800. More attacks in, forced to flash whip, and Nagne's gonna whimsy and say, no, I really want this one. Poked around though, here comes the team. Someday to the front line is already, there's the ulti in, locks up 2. And here comes the push, the knock up again on a Godby. So much is happening. The health bar is getting so low, the shutdown actually happens. Whoa, an overcommit from KT, and it does mean the 2 kills come back through.
That is something, but it's just a drop in the bucket here for LGD.
Yeah.
A little bit of quick cash. And even so, it's just a trade even 2 for 2. They still have no control over the map, and it's going to be hard for them to get it back.
Yeah, we knew Malphite was going to die someday, but looks like it happened right now.
Thought you were against name puns there.
Yeah, I recanted once I realized that there's way too many of them available. Either way, though, I mean, this is rough. 17-3 in kills. KT Rolster have knocked the inhibitor down, but this inhib's going to respawn soon-ish, and Imp's getting a ton of farm back. But an 11,000 gold lead is still what has to be made up for.
And now we talked about the pick and ban phase just before here. I think today we have seen how teams, by not just banning the 3 top-tier picks in Mordekaiser, Lulu, and Gangplank, are starting to really make Red Side look a lot stronger. Because on day 1, Blue Side was 6-0.
The manipulation from Red Side.
Exactly. There's so many small mind games you make, being like, oh, so here's this Elise pick you really want, but there's also these 2 top-tier picks. So if you pick one of them, we're going to have something ready for it. So we're starting to see teams now not be afraid of leaving the top-tier picks open, like on day 1, where it was always like Elise first pick, and then you had a disadvantage from there.
That's fair enough. It does not account for the later stages of the draft phase from LG.
That is very true. Definitely been some mistakes as well.
So yeah, we don't attribute it this whole set up to side selection.
No, but
Baron going to go down pretty easily, though.
LGD have had 2 very bad champion selects in a row now, so that is something that definitely needs to be shored up. Acorn, I know, is one of the voices in that one. In fact, for a time, he was the actual coach of the team and literally just like led all those phases, but right now he is not having a positive impact with this.
Obviously lost their coach, but he was only the coach for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
For LGD, like in playoffs, and POL even went out and said it was the analyst who was doing most of their work anyhow, so they didn't really care about losing the coach too much coming into the World Championship. He's obviously now the analyst, or former analyst, is now the head coach of the team. Seen some problems though for them when it comes to draft and composition.
Yeah. They got, with all the changes, I mean, the thing is, they actually played games. No, they didn't play in 5-16, because they didn't play in the regional. And here we go, into the base. The second inhibitor, the top inhibitor, being laid bare. KT slowly gonna work this one down. TBQ can only throw a cocoon. There's the flash engage. They caught Imp. He's gonna flash out himself, but someday is gonna return on this one. The chain of corruption comes across, but already 2 kills, now 3 kills picked up. Acorn jumps in, tries to pick up a little bit of something. Score will go down, but only the 1 kill. There's the A's. KT Rolster should be closing it out now. It only took him 31 minutes. KT 2-0 to start out their World Championship.
Dominating victory as well for them.